Here we are. I never know when this thing starts or not, but I always have this like.
Well, it says
deer.
8, 9,
Okay,
10,
deer in headlight kind of
11.
look. So, how are we feeling?
A little bit blonde.
Yeah, it's like the die off of.
I said a little bit blonde.
Oh, a little bit blonde. I thought you said a little bit blah.
No, I don't feel
Oh,
blonde.
I don't feel blonde.
A little bit blonde.
Yeah, you're a little blonde right now. Just a
Yeah.
little.
You got me this for Christmas.
Yes, I did. A little fun wig. Not just,
Pretend to be
Yeah.
a blonde for a day.
For a day or two.
So,
Whatever. Yeah. I don't get to do those pretending. I'm just a little bit bald. So I wear the hats.
Well, we have been sick still
Yeah.
from our fast, and people are like, "Wait a minute, you guys went on a fast, so you should be feeling really good."
And generally, you do. But when you have candidas, albacore or albacar or whatever the heck it is, candidas.
Is that tuna?
Yeah, that's a tuna. It's a form of
Alphacons.
yeast that turns into a fungus, and I would say 80%, if not more, people in this planet or on this planet have it. When you fast, what happens?
When you fast, it kind of disrupts the colony, and literally, it is a colony because we're made up of 700 trillion bacterial organisms inside here, and they overrun the amount of human cells that we even have.
Yeah, there's more of them than there is of us. Put it that way.
It's like we're like the carrier.
Yeah.
They're the ones who are living.
We're the host for
Yeah.
them. We just they move around inside of us, controlling our thoughts, our needs, our cravings, everything. So it's not your fault that you can't lay off the cookies. It's the actual little pesters inside of you.
Yeah, those little bugs want what they want.
Exactly.
If you like Pringles, they have an appetite for Pringles.
It's
Or
not you.
Snickers, it's
It's them.
it's them.
So anyway, when we fast, you kind of piss them off because you're not giving them the sugars, the carbs.
You make them upset.
Yeah, very much so. Then you have what they call a candida's die-off, which means as they're dying off, your skin expels it. It's like a whole bunch of you feel sluggish, tired, itchy. I've got this really red eye here that it's it's healed a lot. Push it up. Well, a little higher up, like a little rash right there. And the hemorrhoids. Yeah.
Wow.
That had a contributing factors of two things. You sat on the toilet too long, which
don't ever sit.
No, you can't.
If you have to go.
And when we did enemas, it takes a few days.
You have to go, but don't sit for a long time.
Yeah, no more than 3 minutes. If you're not going in 3 minutes, get up and wait till your body. I don't ever go to the bathroom until my body's telling me go. You're gonna shit your pants.
I was just jealous that you had gone so many times. And it's like,
well, remember, I've been doing this for a very long time, and my body, I've done a lot of fasting, I've done a lot of cleansing. I was raw vegan for over a year, so my intestinal muscles work very well, too well sometimes, and. But I've known, because I used to suffer from hemorrhoids, you cannot sit in the toilet. People sit there with a newspaper, you're able to read a whole book while you're doing that.
Don't bring a book or have a library inside your bathroom.
Or your phone, because then you sit there on the phone and you're
That's what I did.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it was early in the morning.
Right.
Yeah.
And needless to say, bad case of hemorrhoids. But it's getting better because we're treating it with coconut oil and lavender. Or actually apple cider vinegar.
No preparation age.
No, that stuff is lethal. It's got chemicals, and you're putting it right directly into the vein, which is what your actual hemorrhoids are, and you're absorbing all that crap into your body. But anyway, other than that, we're doing good. I feel better today. The first few days after the fast, it was like I have no energy. Plus, we haven't been able to go to the gym because the gym was closed for a bunch of days during the holiday.
There's a love-hate thing with what happened with the gym, because I love the fact that we were able to, discover this whole sense of what it is that we're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't for the gym closing, we wouldn't have even gone on a fast this early. We would have done it later.
In the beginning of the
year.
Right.
But, since the gym closed, and had some weird hours like 6 to 10 in the morning,
And then
today
it'd
it
be
would have
like
been 6
this.
or 10 in the morning.
Yeah, and
right?
then it's packed because everybody, and we don't like to
Yeah.
go when the gym's packed.
No. But, you know, it was one of those things where once we found out the winter solstice, you know, and we just thought it was going to work really well. And I thought that I would just be feeling really good after the fast, you know, but it got to the point where
One of the reasons, besides the candidas, is that every year or every time you do a fast, the body goes in deeper and deeper to deal with things that you've had from childhood, traumas, you know, intestinal problems. It's just trying to clean you out and it's going in there to heal old injuries. And we've both have had candidas from a very young age due to the feeding that are.
yeah,
You know,
I mean, I used to wake up with crusties in my eye. I used to have a snotty nose all the time. I mean, I
I was
still
asthmatic. I
am
had
dealing with
hives.
that right now.
You know, yeast infections, you name it, you know, just nonstop skin. I get these little white things that are little fungus, and that's all part of the candidas, you know, because it just takes over your body and it poops inside of you, and then it
I
creates.
mean, it's gross. I know.
Yeah,
but
it's gross, but
what's
that's what
happening.
happens. I mean, and if you don't take care of it, it will take over, and you will. A majority of the diseases is because you have an infestation.
It'll take care of you because it wants to survive
Yeah.
and it wants to thrive, actually. So
Right.
it does whatever it does in order for it.
To
Like
live.
that lady was saying today, her name is, oh gosh, Krista, I guess she does this Candida cleanse. And she said that, you know, it's just another organism.
Yeah.
And things just want to survive. So
And it's
we just
okay.
don't want it to survive inside of us.
And you need some candidas, okay? Let's get
But
this
the
clear.
yeast form of it,
Yeah,
not
not the fungus.
the fungus.
And you need it to be your good bacteria, which you have a whole colony, to be ahead of the game, and less bad bacteria, or what we call bad, because there's really no bad. It's just
Yeah.
one is more favorable than the other. And when you have healthy bacteria, you get through probiotic, then your health is much better. When you
Yeah.
have an overgrowth of this candidas or any parasite or anything that is not favorable, then you have health issues.
Yeah, and you deal with these issues, and then you don't realize where they're coming from. You don't know why it's happening the way it's happening to you. But the underlying factor is that there's a fungus that has kind of like broke loose of its pen,
Yeah.
and it's turned into, well, it's actually a yeast that turned into something else. It's like
Fungus.
a
It's like a mold.
it's like the Hulk or something.
Yeah, the mold,
Kind
very
of turned
angry
into
mold.
somebody else, you know.
You know, the way you find out if you have this stuff or not is in the morning, you take some water and you spit in that water. If it stays up and it doesn't go down, you're good to go. But if it goes down and it starts to like appear as if it's growing tentacles or legs, then you've got a Candida's overgrowth. The majority of people do. I mean, fatigue,
Stress.
bloat, you can't digest stuff. Yeah, you feel very anxious for no apparent reason. You know, it's just a whole slew. I mean, if you Google it, you'll see this whole slew of side effects, which are not pleasant, you know, because.
But you don't realize it because it's one of those things that it gets you best when your immune system is down. When you've been under a stressful situation and your body is kind of like fighting for health,
Right.
it starts to show up because that's what's there, you know, and it's causing problems.
So it's important to take care of that overgrowth, and then once you take care of that overgrowth, you don't want to kill it completely, but you want to kill a big majority of it.
You won't ever be able
No,
to.
because it's part of what your body produces. Actually, you have that, but when you die,
Yeah.
it eats away. That's what decays and eats
It'll
away your
live
body.
after you're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's important that you like eliminate as much as possible, and then what? You need to rebuild your good
Yeah.
bacteria. And there are things that you take, foods that you eat, that actually end up killing off your good bacteria and feeding the candidas. You know, so
And it's something that the good bacteria in your body are called bacterioids, and those are they're called the skinny bacteria, the skinny body bacteria, because they're the ones that promote health and wellness and stuff like that. And then the bad bacteria is what a lot of people, and you know, that are overweight and obese deal with. You know, bacterioids are more common in like Africa and other countries where their health is better.
Right.
Here in the United States, We are the fattest nation in the world. We overtook Mexico not too long ago as the most obese nation. And you know, you look around, go walk down the street, everybody's overweight these days. I mean, in the 60s, in the 70s, when we were growing up, 80s even, it wasn't as prevalent.
I think
the fat kid was kind of like the odd
kid,
one.
yeah. But now, because everything is feeding this candidas, we have the high corn fructose syrup, which is awful. Any type of like excessive amount of sugars, even fruit. You know, and you see a couple of pieces of fruit up there. That's from the last grocery because we didn't buy anything with sugar. We're going on a gluten-free diet because you need to eliminate all these sugars in order to eliminate the candidas. And it's not forever, and you always have to be careful because you don't want to recreate that infestation. So you want to eat fruit, and we'll have a show. We're going to really go deep into the things you can and cannot eat.
It'd be nice to get a professional to talk about these things with us. You know, I mean, we're like kind of like a sponge, you know, just trying to soak everything in that we're hearing. But, you know, I mean, we're going to go on our own Candida cleanse. We ordered some
Candida complex that actually help eliminate and then refills your gut with healthy bacteria, which is the name of the game. Again, get rid of the bad one or bring it down as much as possible and
bring more of the good guys in to help.
And to keep your whole... Because we're like one big terrain. You know, your stomach, your intestine is a big terrain. You need to keep that, like you keep your fish tank, pH and everything balanced. That's what you got to do in your body.
Or else you get algae. I remember when I was a kid, we had a fish aquarium and stuff. And, you know, if the pH level was bad and off and stuff like that, or if we didn't have animals in there, you know, snails or the little catfish that eat the brine and stuff on the...
It's a perfect ecosystem that
it would
balances
turn
itself.
all green, silty on the sides and stuff, and it would smell. Fish could die, you know, because...
That's how nature works. It's everything is homeostasis. Every little creature on this planet has a purpose so that everything has a homeostasis or a good balance.
And I know it sounds gross because you think, whoa, there's things that live inside of me.
They do.
It's like
you have
on our skin, there's millions of organisms right now. You can't see them, they're microscopic, but if you put it under a microscope,
you'll see
they're busy and they're working and they're doing their thing and they're protecting us.
And when you end up putting too much lotion or lotion that is acidic or stuff that doesn't meant to go on your skin, you end up disturbing that balance and you end up your hairs. And a lot of people don't like to have hairs, but your hairs is your line of defense, you know.
Or if you use Purell, you know, like hand sanitizer, constantly wanting to keep your hands sterile and clean and stuff, and staying off of the, you know, out of the dirt, not, you know, I mean, we're dirt. That's what we are, you know, and a good lawn and stuff. The way you could tell it's healthy is if you see like snails and bugs and ants and things crawling in it.
Everybody doing their work.
Yeah, everything's living and.
So needless to say, we will on Tuesday because we're going out the 31st. We're probably having a couple of hard ciders and
our last
hurrah because we got to eliminate the alcohol, and because alcohol feeds the candidas, and it's you either serious about your health or you're not. And I'm tired of feeling tired.
Oh gosh.
And it's like
I'm tired.
Yeah, it's like health is so vital and so important, and you really need it. And this gnawing sinus affection that doesn't seem to ever want to go away, So
yeah, it's one of those things where it's like I've lived with it and lived with it. I don't think I've ever known life free from something like this. I mean, and they say when you do, it's amazing.
And we lead a very generally healthy life compared to other people because we eat organic, we eat dairy-free. But until you create all the balance and get rid of these critters, until you have adrenal health, because everything, and then the years of hormones, that feeds the hell out of the candidas.
And if you've ever been on antibiotics, any commercial you see on TV is always selling an antibiotic.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that disturbs the whole ecological system in your body, as do birth control pills, any estrogen synthetic, any testosterone synthetic. It just destroys it
ruins the pH balance in your body, so that all these things, actually harbor inside, and they start attacking other parts of the body.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's even evidence out there that they're pointing to that Candida could be the cause of cancers and multiple sclerosis, also Alzheimer's, ADHD.
Oh, a whole bunch
I
of
mean,
stuff.
all these different things that people, autism, and all these things, you know, and it's all attributed to organisms that live inside of us
Yep.
that get unruly. What happens with a cancer cell? You know, it's an organism. It's our
cell.
own human cell that goes rogue.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know, gets unruly
Yeah.
and starts eating.
So everything out of balance just creates problems. We had a comment today on one of our videos. I forgot which video it was. Oh, I think it was our latest video, the one we did before this one.
You guys back and forth.
Yeah, and it's
Right.
like I haven't been.
Who are you?
I haven't been listening to your channel.
I'm a Christian.
And I'm trans myself, and I'm an evangelical Christian, and you know I've started to catch up with your videos, and now I feel like I'm on this roller coaster ride or a merry-go-round, and I'm so confused. And I'm like, gosh, I didn't know that our you know our life confuses people or makes people. It's like, worry about your life. You know, we're trying to try to deal.
We
with
confuse you guys because
But,
I wear a blonde wig one day and
yeah, and it's
we're
like,
brunette one another day.
you know, it's like people live their life and try to grow and learn and understand the path that they're on. And, you know, there's no pro road. There's no set manual that tells you how to do this, how to do that. And the only constant in life is change. That's it. That's the only constant. If you think that you're going to have the same, you know, it's like people that hold on to the same job or they do the same thing and they eat the same thing every day and they do, it's like, you know, you're in for a rude awakening because, you know, even the ocean, you know, even the weather, everything changes. And that's part of what is.
Yeah, I used to live, you know, in a place where they would say, just wait 10 minutes and the weather will change. You know, it's like, it's constant. That's what life is. And, you know, Puerto Rico just had a terrible hurricane, as you all know. Maria came through and it devastated the island. And I just read a report about the place where the rainforest is and stuff and how it's rebuilding. I mean, it's not going to look the same.
Of course not.
It's going to change it a little bit, but the only constant
is change.
And adaptability. That's what nature is. It adapts to its circumstances. I mean, people who would look at what happened in 1980 when Mount St. Helens blew, they would say, oh, never again will we ever see life return to this mountain, to this volcano. Well, it's now one of the most biodiverse areas in the whole planet. People are coming from all around the world to see and study all the life that's been created from it. And, you know, for us, it's been that way in our relationship. I mean, this is December 30th. This is the day that I fell off the mountain. This night is the night that I rolled my car and broke my neck and was down there for 12 hours. So things have changed a lot since then.
3 years ago.
3 years ago, 72 months ago, you know, and it's not the same. Last year wasn't the same as this year. The year before that wasn't the same as the year before. I mean,
it's called evolution. It's called growth. It's called adapting. It's called, you know, life. You know, there's nothing more than life, and life is never constant, and life is ever changing. And if you guys know us and you know the story behind the reasoning behind a lot of the so-called detransition, which frankly
we've explained it over and over.
And frankly, there's nowhere to transition to or detransition to. It's just people expressing, you know, and being comfortable with, you know, how one wants to express or be, you know, and how one feels comfortable identifying as, you know. And we've said in the last video, you know, we've handed over the flag of the advocacy, either way, pro or against. You know, our focus from now on is going to be about health and the latest technology on health and how people could best navigate this planet in a healthy way, whether you're trans, whether you're not trans. You know, it's
trying to help people, give
Yeah.
them tools for life,
Yeah.
for success and
Yeah.
wholeness, and living a life that, you know, that they can actually feel as if they're giving something back. You know,
Exactly.
instead of constantly complaining and
Yeah.
taking, you know, and stuff, and
Being
making
unhappy.
reasons for
Yeah.
not being happy. I mean, it's like we could look at Facebook and other places on social media and on the TV and stuff and complain and moan and be about life, you know, and
Ain't gonna make things
you
any
know,
better by
not.
complaining. So you learn to live with what you got and the best you that you can be, and the most natural and healthy you that you can be. Because one thing we have right across the board is said that pharmaceuticals will kill you.
And it doesn't matter if they're synthetic hormones
Yeah.
or they're synthetic, you know,
Any kind
headache
of pill.
medication
Yeah.
or something. I mean, or heart medication. I mean,
Mhm.
it's all bad.
Yeah.
Antibiotics are bad, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean,
you could do it the natural route, and that's what we aim to prove, that you can transition naturally, you can heal yourself with herbs and natural means. And yeah, okay, preparation H makes the hemorrhoids go up like that, but you're gonna have side effects from it, and you're gonna be ingesting a lot of chemicals. Oil of coconut oil and lavender, or coconut oil and apple cider vinegar is natural, and it might take a few days, but it does work.
it worked. I mean, I feel much better.
The rash didn't have to take any medical stuff. It's just coconut oil and lavender oil.
Your blood pressure.
Yeah, my blood pressure, thankfully, I mean, I've been on Hawthorne Berry now, I think it'll be 4 or 5 days. And yesterday is when I
Got it
started
under
seeing,
control.
yeah, and it's like I started seeing the improvement already. I don't feel that anxiety. I still feel a little like foggy, and I think it's the candidas. I feel like a little sick. And it's almost like the critters. Every time I start making dinner, we start doing dinner, I feel agitated. It's like they're like, "Are you gonna give us sugar? Are you gonna give us sugar?" It's like, seriously, people. It's not even a joke. I mean,
It's
these
not.
things literally take over your mind.
Me too.
And it's like when you get ready to want to eat, and when you're aware that it's not me, because I don't really like sugar. I don't really, I've detoxed all that out of my system, and I feel it. It's like they try to get my anxiety level up, and they try as I'm cutting the vegetables, and there's nothing there for them to feed on because it's all,
I mean, if you ever watched
gluten-free.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers,
Oh, gosh.
it's sort of like that. I mean, our bodies get influenced by these organisms, and some of them cross the blood-brain barrier, and they do attack
Your
brain neurotransmitters and
yeah.
things like that, and they can wreak a lot of havoc.
Yeah.
And the things you're like, gosh, why did I do that again? Why am I constantly failing at
Yeah, well,
not being able to keep my diet up or the willpower to work out and
Yeah.
stuff? And it's like,
it's not you, it's them.
It's
and
them.
but my blood pressure, even when I feel like that, I tested it and it's gone way down. I think last night it was like 116 over 69 or something like that, or 70, and it had gone up at times. It was like 150 something over 101 or 110. So the Hawthorne berry is definitely working.
that's
It's
awesome.
like-
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
I'm so glad. I mean,
And that's
it's-
only 4 or 5 days into it, So yeah,
And the Suma that you're going to be taking is called,
Yeah.
it's called an adaptogen. I guess
Yeah.
it's supposedly
also help with
really
healing,
helpful.
healing and allowing the body to, like with your workouts, so that the body could recuperate from the workout, so you could build muscle. What else are we
we
taking?
miss the gym.
Oh, we do.
I mean, everybody needs a way to be able to release dopamine.
Yeah.
And some people do it in ways that are hurtful,
Unhealthy,
addictively dangerous,
Mhm.
like maybe taking Coke or,
yeah. Alcohol or overindulging in foods and sugars,
the opiate receptors in the brain are actually available to you all the time. But there's different ways that they can be triggered. And one of the ways that it's triggered in most Americans is by eating cheese. Just
Gosh.
cheese. Cheese is as addictive,
That's heroin.
as heroin. It
Yeah.
actually enables those opiate receptors to latch on to that desire for cheese.
Yeah.
And then people don't know what to do.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't know why I like cheese pizza, or I don't know why I like pepperoni pizza. It's just
Mozzarella
good. I just
stick.
always want more cheese, and
Yeah.
you know, cheese is good. I mean, let's not joke around. It is good, but
Yeah.
you know, there are other things in life that are good too, and that's health.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, life is not about entertaining our palate.
No,
You know.
not at all, not at all. And it's important to realize that this right here, your body, it's the only body you got. And if you don't take care of it and you don't put the right ingredients in it, your body will start to break down. You know, and it's the years that I took.
I mean, our gut is 80% of
yeah.
our immune system.
It's definitely
80%.
even your mental health all stems from here. If this is off, this is going to be off. You know, that's how it goes.
They say go with your gut. That means go with your gut.
Yeah.
It doesn't say, they never say go with your brain. It
yeah.
says go with your gut.
Good, 'cause that's
What's your gut feeling about this? Or your chi?
Yeah.
You know, I remember karate used to be kia. You know, you like kia. You know, it's like in from your gut, you know, and the
That's where
gut
everything's
strength,
at. It's
core strength.
Your core is everything. So yeah, we're excited about this Candida diet, and then just and
No
going
fruit.
gluten free. It's
Fruit.
okay. It's all right. Fruit feeds it, and I mean, what's the use of just stirring things up and continuing? And then when we come off of the Candida diet, you're still going to be very mindful of the kind of fruit, because the fruit you're getting nowadays are it's like hybrids. You're really not getting the true fruit that was like not sugary, because the real fruit before all this hybriding stuff, it was just like the berries and the very sour type, not sweet. That's all been created to get people to buy stuff,
Well, I mean, if you go to the grocery store, typically the person that's going to be looking for produce is going to look for the fattest, most plumpy
Yeah.
looking apple, but the reality is that a real apple that's not been hybridized is a smaller
apple. It's like when we go
smaller little
picking
thing.
apples here, which usually the size of the apples are.
And they're
small.
not like
Super
super sweet.
No.
They're
They're watery,
Yeah.
nice and watery, and but we have consumed so much fruit since you and I have been together that it really does feed the Candida. So
and I don't know. I mean, we used to talk about raw food and eating lots of fruit. What?
it's
Fruitarian. Yeah. But we realize now that all of that fruit is just feeding Candida like crazy because they love sugar.
Right. And unless you're
sugar.
a like high-end athlete, like a marathon runner, that you're gonna like literally work away through all that fruit and use it, it's gonna feed the Candidas and it's gonna make you sick.
Remember that one guy? He's an ultra marathoner. What's his name?
Fruitarian.
The fruitarian.
Yeah.
He actually had, what was it, dates
Yeah, and avocado.
and
Got
avocados
very
on his
sick.
ultra marathon,
Yeah, got
and
very
he just
sick.
got super sick
Yeah.
throughout the whole. Almost didn't finish his run.
And I believe there is a place for fruitarianism or in raw veganism when you're very sick or you're very overweight and you're trying to lose weight and you're trying to cleanse your body, but you can't do that kind of diet on a lifetime. And I know there are people out there that
Yeah.
have done it, but you don't know what the long-term ramifications. I mean, Freebie the Banana Girl, not doing so well.
No, she's
Um,
she's really changed a lot.
and
Yeah.
doesn't look as healthy and vibrant as she used
Has
to.
aged.
Yeah,
in
and
a
her
way.
mental capacity is kind of, not judging, but I don't think she's the same person anymore. But, it's important to listen to your body. It's important to know when something's off. And that's why the importance of change and growth. Because being stagnant, I mean, we're constantly changing our diet.
I
Constantly.
mean,
because it
I
needs-
think it's a good idea to change your diet
Mhm.
anyway, because your body gets used to the same old,
Mhm.
and it's like